Hey everyone, Brad here today from the OFAH Heritage Centre. This year, our virtual lesson series is taking up a new theme. We're going to be focusing on fun and fascinating facts involving all sorts of topics related to hunting, fishing, conservation, and wildlife. This month, we're going to focus on fascinating facts involving Ontario's fish species. So stick around as we dive into this interesting topic. Ontario is home to 158 different species of fish. These vary from our smallest fish in the form of minnow species, of which Ontario has 40. Many minnow species grow to a maximum length of 5 centimeters or less and weigh only a few grams. Ontario's fish species go all the way up to our largest fish species, which is the lake sturgeon. Did you know that Ontario's record lake sturgeon is actually the largest fish ever to be caught within the province? It was an astronomical 69 inches in length, which is as tall as an average adult male. It weighed in at 168 pounds and had a girth, which is a measurement around the midsection of the fish, of over 42 inches, which is bigger than most people's waist. This lake sturgeon was caught in Wasaga Beach at the mouth of the Nottawasaga River on May 29, 1982. It was caught by angler Edward Paskowski. Believe it or not, this fish was caught on only 12-pound test fishing line, and it took an hour and a half of fighting to land. These massive fish are known to be the oldest fish in the province, with certain lake sturgeon known to be over 150 years old. Ontario's rarest fish, and actually the rarest trout species in the world, is the Aurora Trout. Ontario is home to over 250,000 lakes, and out of all of those, the Aurora Trout can only be found in 12 of them. The Aurora Trout is a color variation of the brook trout. It's different from a brook trout though, as it does not have the distinctive spots, halos, and worm-like markings which we call vermiculations. The brook trout has all of these, whereas the Aurora Trout does not. Although the Aurora Trout is technically a brook trout, it also has an iridescent or shiny quality to its body. Its unique coloring is thought to occur in only these specific lakes, as these trout have been isolated in these lakes for so long, thousands of years in fact. This has removed them from other brook trout populations, so that there's limited genetic diversity, and therefore the unique coloring adaptation occurred and continued to be bred into the population. Speaking of cool adaptations, all fish have something called lateral lines. Lateral lines are a system of sensory organs that are found along the body of fish from just behind their gills down to the end of their tails. These lines are a series of organs which detect movement, vibration, and pressure in the water surrounding them. Lateral lines give fish these unique senses which allow them to be aware of fish schooling behavior around them, predators closing in, and they help to orient the fish with where they are in the water column. Another remarkably interesting adaptation of fish is that they can smell fear. Well, sort of. When certain species of fish are injured, they release a chemical called Schreckstoff, which is a German word for scary stuff. This is a chemical that other fish can smell, and it warns them to hide from danger. It's known to be used by certain minnow species, catfish, salmonids, including some trout, and other fish species. This is an especially useful adaptation for fish who travel in schools, as it signals to other fish nearby to beware as soon as one fish in the school is injured. Schreckstoff can also be a barrier to success when fishing, as certain species will release this chemical after being hooked and while being reeled in, and it can cause other fish to evacuate the area, limiting success in an area where you may have hooked a fish. I'm sure we're all aware that fish use their gills to extract oxygen from water. But did you know that some fish can actually breathe air? It's true. In Ontario, the bowfin, some gar species, and catfish species can both breathe air and take oxygen in through their gills. The air moves to their swim bladder, where oxygen is then drawn in. This unique trait enables these fish to survive in warm, shallow water with poor oxygen levels, where other fish may not be able to survive. Did you know that Ontario is actually home to eels? The American eel is a native inhabitant of Ontario. An interesting and little-known fact about this native species is that they are hatched as eggs in the Sargasso Sea, which is in the North Atlantic Ocean off the east coast of North America. Eels are hatched there from eggs and known to migrate as much as 3,000 kilometers inland from there to live their lives. At the end of their life cycles, which is between 10 to 25 years, these American eels then migrate back to the Sargasso Sea to spawn and then die off. This means that eels are capable of living in both fresh and salt water. Our last fact today is actually related to a question. Did you know that it is illegal to travel overland with live fish in Ontario? If you catch a fish in Ontario, you must possess a license to travel overland with that fish being kept alive. This means you have two options when fishing. You can either dispatch the fish and bring it home for dinner, or you can practice the conservation positive action of catch and release fishing. You may ask, why is this important? Well, the answer is quite simple, really. This is done for two main reasons. First, this stops the spread of any invasive fish species, fish parasites, or diseases from entering other bodies of water. This also stops the introduction of fish species into bodies of water where they may not be native. That's it for this month's installment of Fascinating Facts. Thank you for joining us. Be sure to like this video and comment below. Don't forget to check out the resources section on our webpage. There you'll find free printable resource material like mini lessons and activity pages to follow up the virtual lesson. And please subscribe to stay connected as we learn together outside the classroom.